Okay, good. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Power Author Academy. And this week we have a special guest instructor with us. So we have Miss Coach Ty Miles. Ty Miles, first of all, from a personal perspective, the lady is one of my most best friends. I just love her. I absolutely love her. I love her. I love her spirit. I love the way that she shows up in the world. I love the way that she really goes over and beyond for everything that I've seen her do in the last, I guess, is it 2 years maybe?
Yeah.
2 years or so that I've known her. So I learn a lot from her just from watching the way that she maneuvers through the world. So I'm really excited for her to be with us in the Power Author Academy. As you all know, we are bringing in guest instructors that are powerhouses in their own right. These are people who do the thing that they do very, very, very well. They're experts. And so for you all who are becoming power authors and you're working on your first or next book, we understand that it is so important for you to be able to build a platform for yourself, to have followers, to have fans, to have people who are a part of your community. And so when you are launching your books, you're not launching to crickets, right? You're launching out into a space that is going to be warm and welcoming for what it is that you're looking to do. So Miss Ty Miles is a certified personal coach. She is a business strategist. She is a personal branding expert, an international speaker, and of course, she is an entrepreneur. She is the creator of the personal development brand Fiercer Woman and the founder of Women's Wellbeing Firm. And she just started a new jewelry company. So you already know I'm addicted to jewelry. And it's called the Wood and Royalty Therapeutic Jewelry Company. I got my bracelet. So I love it. So Miss Ty is multi-passionate, and her real focus in life is to empower women entrepreneurs to build, launch, and grow profitable brands and businesses. So she specializes in online visibility and business growth strategy, along with spiritual success principles, positive psychology coaching, and neuro-linguistic techniques. She supports her clients to leverage their authenticity, own their personal power, challenge their fears, and take the risks necessary to attain their boldest goals. Ty is unique with her transparent, energetic, and actionable training style that inspires her audience into action. So welcome, Ty.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Z. That was phenomenal. I need to have you introduce me all the time.
I'll record it for you if you want. So, Ty, first of all, before we get into this whole branding and such, we know that this is a crazy time with COVID and everything going on here. So we just want to send love to you and to your family. And one thing that we do to start off every Power Author session is we start with one thing that we're grateful for, or one thing that, is like a win for us. So we want to hear from you. What is just one thing that has you excited? One thing that you're grateful for this past week?
So I'm just going to start with this morning. I am grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my body. I started yoga this morning, so I had an opportunity to get to know my body in a way that I haven't experienced it before. So I'm grateful for that.
Yes, I'm noticing more and more. Like if you don't get this body lubricated and working and the joints going, then we can't do the other things that we want to do. Everything kind of centers on our health. So, all right, so let's jump right into it. As you know, Ms. Ty, that here we have authors who are writing their first or next book. We have a combination of people. So some are entrepreneurs, some are writing a book more for legacy purposes, like putting out a message that is really important to them. And there's a mixture, of those two camps. But one of the things that we always talk about is the fact that we can't launch the crickets. We want to be able to build up and use the time that they're working right now to build the actual book, like to their advantage. So I just wanted to kind of see right off jump, what do you think is the most important thing when it comes to branding as a new author, as someone that maybe doesn't have a huge platform?
Yeah, so I think that the great question, first of all, and I don't get that question often. So, one of the biggest things to launching a platform or launching your book in terms of branding is really being clear on who you are, like who you are, what you stand for, and the needs of your people, your tribe, your community. Being very clear on those two, and then once you're clear on those two, being able to share who you are and the work that you contribute to the world in a very clear and concise way. Like that's foundational.
Clear and concise way. I think that's like the part that's like, okay, I can say it, but how do I actually really make it pop? So tell me more, because I know this is like a subject that you teach on a lot. Like this is a thing, this is your baby. This is your subject that people really come to you for. So just dive into your content for me and let me kind of hear from you so I can sit back and learn and see how we can really build this thing from scratch, I guess almost.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I love personal branding. Personal branding to me is just like one of those core things that allow you to uh, on who you are. I talk about that all the time. Get clear on who you are, connect to yourself, really own your gifts, your talents, not in comparison to someone else's, but really become one and ground yourself in your brilliance and how your brilliance really create change in the world. And then being able to share that out. So branding to me, if I just give it in a very clear way, most people think about fonts, they think about colors, they think about I would say the fonts and the colors, the biggest thing, the logo. That is the easy part of branding. And I don't honestly like to spend a lot of time with my clients. That part is probably it is the last thing that we work on. The bigger piece that keep women, that keep entrepreneurs from putting themselves out there is really their internal resistance, sharing themselves with the world, overcoming what they think other people are going to think about them, comparing their brands to other people brands. That's the bigger part that hold people back. And so there's three things three ways that I teach personal branding or branding. Most times when I'm speaking with authors, I teach it from personal branding. You straight branding when I'm dealing with product based or like business. But for you guys, because it's attached to your story, it's attached to your voice, I wanted to teach this from a personal branding perspective. And in terms of personal branding, there are three key aspects that I'm going to train on today. The first one is personality. The second one is purpose. And the third one is platform. And this is really a quick and dirty style training. Like what I share with you guys today, no matter where you are in your book writing process or your brand building process, you're going to be able to walk away with something that you can use right away. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about number one, which is personality. This is the absolute first thing we like to start. I teach personal branding from an inside out game perspective. Most people don't share their brilliance, don't share their book, don't share their business because they fear rejection. They are afraid of what people are going to think about them. And they honestly, they struggle with almost always being their true self behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. But what we have to do is learn how to be our true self in the public's eye. And that's a whole nother something. And so this is where your personality, this is where you really have to get clear on how you want people to perceive you based off who you are. So I choose the sides that I want to share with the world. I do not put up a facade. I do not fake. I do not believe in that part. I don't think that organically or it doesn't attract people who really can, it doesn't attract your community, the community that reflects your values. So in order for you to attract a community that reflects your values, you need to understand your personality, which when it boils down is boiling down to your personal values. So the first thing I want to have you do is sort of think about three characteristics, three qualities that define your personality. For me, my number one core value is integrity. And so integrity in terms of authenticity, you know, being myself, not trying to be like anyone else, because I have tried to, I felt like I've been a chameleon in this coaching business, trying to mimic my coaches, trying to mimic my mentors. Sometimes it sort of happens naturally. But what I realized is the more that I became comfortable with who I am. I'm silly. I am. I don't like to lead money first. I like to make sure that whatever I do can actually help clients instead of just making a transaction and then figuring out I'm going to give them something for this money. I can't operate like that. So integrity is number one for me in terms of my business exchanges and in terms of just giving myself permission to be Ty and not anyone else. Never more than, never less than. So integrity is one. Another one of my personal values is spirituality. I'm a very spiritual person. I work with spiritual women. Spiritual women usually have the most difficult time. They deal with people pleasing a lot. They deal with conformity a lot. And it's rooted in our systems and the conditioning from our religious and spiritual environments. And so I oftentimes have to help them from a psychological perspective break through that so that they can really express their uniqueness, the God in them, as them, and through them. So I love working with spiritual women. If you go to any of my social media accounts, you're going to see some level of spirituality. I just can't get around it, right? And then lastly, I'm inviting. I want everyone to feel accepted. I want them to feel warm. I want them to feel free to be themselves. I embrace diversity. I love inclusion. I respect the differences in our life's experiences, and it just makes my life so much better. And so I'm very inviting, and I'm very intentional about that. If this was in an in-person setting, not COVID, I'll be hugging, dapping, elbowing. I'll be doing all of that because that's just it. I just feel good. I receive my energy, and it's my lifeblood. And so why is this important? These things, understanding your core values, is very important. One, because whenever you're branding, especially personal branding, and you're putting yourself out there on whatever social media platforms or whatever marketing platforms you use, you need to know how you want people to perceive you, because perception is reality. I want people to perceive me as intentional. I want people to perceive me as spiritual. I want people to perceive me as a woman of integrity. And so knowing these things about myself, I now can be very intentional with the words and the images that I use that convey that message clearly. Everything has to be in sync. Everything has to be in alignment. But if you don't really know how you want to show up in the world, if you don't know what your personality is, and a lot of women struggle with this, who are you? What do you like? We have a hard time answering that question, but it boils down to understanding who you are. And so the second thing that comes out of personality is because you want to attract people that reflect your values. I usually attract spiritual women or women who want to be more spiritual. I usually attract women who want to learn how to come out of the shadows of other people and be more authentic. That's because I present integrity. The words that I use, the captions that I write present integrity, right? I attract opportunities from various places because they can see I can show up well in pretty much any crowd because I'm only showing up as myself, which emboldens and gives other people permission to feel free to be themselves. So they enjoy being around me, right? And also with the integrity, I'm not going to teach what I don't know. And so they respect that when I show up, I'm going to bring and contribute in a very valuable way because I'm not teaching something I don't know. I'm not faking it, right? And so personality is number one. And you guys need to be clear on your personality because who you are and what you present, you're going to attract that same type of client, that same person to you. And I always say that your personality should either drive or draw. So you're going to drive people who like, I don't like that spiritual side of Ty. I don't want to do business. Like I have people say, I don't like doing business with woo-woo people. I don't like doing business with super spiritual people. And guess what? That's totally okay. Because if you're my coaching client and we're on a one-on-one call, I'm probably going to reference God in some way. I'm probably going to speak to you, your spiritual core in some way. And I need you to be okay with that in order for us to get the best results. So your personal brand should either drive or draw. So some people are going to be off-put by what you say, and some people are going to totally love everything about you, and they're going to come closer. And that's what you want. And that's why it's so important that we don't have that fear of rejection, that we are really just experiencing the world as we are and being okay with what the world, what life gives us, because we're giving life our true selves, if that makes sense. So that's the first P, is personality. So let's move to the second thing. Well, let me check in with you, Z. Z, we're going to do a Q&A at the end, or do you want me to kind of pause for a moment? And how do you want to do it?
Sorry.
Okay.
We'll do a Q&A at the end, but I'm going to pop in a couple of times because sometimes I'm hearing some things and I want to ask some follow-ups. So I'll do my follow-ups while you're talking, but we'll do everybody else at the end.
Okay. I hope this is good teaching. Are you all grabbing something so far? I hope so.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So then let's go into the second thing. The second P is purpose. And purpose is so awesome. And it's this goes to being able to clearly share who you are and what you do, right? Clear and concise. So for instance, I used to struggle around my 30-second introduction, or you may hear it as your elevator speech. I used to struggle. Oh my gosh, I meet someone and I'm trying to tell them who I am, and I'm just like stumbling all over the place, right? So I had to, based off that personality, the purpose. So I had to learn how to express what I do in a way that, not trying to say it like Zarinah, or not trying to say it like Tasha or like Heather, but saying it like Ty, like, so really sharing it in a way that felt good for me. But what helped me to share it in a way that felt good for me is becoming really clear on who best benefit from what I do. So how do you become clear on who best benefit from what you do? You have to really be clear on what it is you do. And I'm not talking about the necessarily the features of what you do. And by features, I mean, you know, I'm a coach. So I teach marketing, I teach sales. These are features of what I do. You have to really get clear on the benefits. So when you're thinking about the person that best benefits from your expertise, or, you know, from the subject matter that you're sharing in your book, think about the transformation. Think about where they're going to be as a result of reading your book, or as a result of experiencing your expertise. And so when I did that work, so I could say I am a positive psychology coach, but what is the benefit to the client from being a positive psychology coach? I know that women have a whole nother set, and especially women entrepreneurs, we have a whole nother set of psychological needs that must be met for us to show up in the world. So it's not just us being smart and knowledgeable, because we are smart and knowledgeable. It's normally something holding us back mindset wise, oftentimes what we think about ourselves. And so I think about, well, I help my women, you know, I guess move past blocks, internal blocks that's keeping them and holding back the financial, physical wealth and abundance that they are desiring and that they deserve. And so when I share it like that, and not just say I teach sales and marketing, but I actually say I teach sales and marketing techniques in a way that women entrepreneurs understand their role. And that comes in with the neuro-linguistics. I help my women. I stop them and say, did you hear what you said? That's exactly what you said is the reason why you're not getting this result. So I have the skill set, but I need to share what I do in a way that it speaks to the emotional aspect of what my client is looking to gain from our experience. And so you do have to balance that. So you want to bring in the intellectual piece. So you want to share statistics and data and things, but really when it comes to sharing who you are, first time experiences, networking, even when you're introducing yourself online, and we're going to talk about that next, you need to be able to tap into that emotional space. Because statistics say that 80% of people, we buy emotion first, and then we come back and back it up with knowledge later. That's scientific, it's proven. We buy off emotions first. So that's why the benefit to the client is so important. So when you look at what you do through the lens of the benefit to your client, what comes up for you? I want you to think about, like, how does my work benefit the client? How does my book benefit the client? Because at the end of the day, your reader, your client, they are always first interested in what's in it for them. Always first interested in what's in it for them. And so how do you, I know I used to struggle with, people are gonna think about how much money I'm making. And they may not think about, they just be like, oh, you cost this much, and I'm putting this much money in your bank account, which gets them off of the transformation, like the benefits for them in that transaction. And so when you lead with benefits in terms of your purpose, the focus is on them and not necessarily on what they're investing. Because I often say that in the absence of value, people focus on price. The reason that you're focusing on the benefits is so that they won't be so focused on price. And whatever the price is, they're going to justify the reward from taking that risk of investing at whatever level. So it might be a book, but your book may also be a lead in to another service, right? And so if you're focusing on benefits in terms of your purpose, you're going to be able to better connect with your ideal client, really speak to them in a way that resonates, and that's going to lead to converting them into a longer term relationship, right? So that's purpose. That's purpose. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to hit on in terms of purpose. I have these notes here, but I don't always teach from.
I had a question, like, centered around that part. Like we were talking, like, how do you get to know your people, right? Like, how do you get to know your people? So when I was talking to our authors, and we were talking about this whole idea that the reader doesn't care about you as the author. They don't care about us as the individual, right? They care about, like, what is this book going to do for me? That's why they're picking it up. That's why they're investing in it. And so when you're trying to come up with your audience, and when you're trying to decide, like, really who your people are going to be, and then how you're going to reach them, we talked about, like, getting into their minds as far as the inner dialogue. We talked about going into some Facebook groups and kind of reaching into people and finding them and things like that. But I'm wondering, for those who may not necessarily yet know, like, how it affects their reader, what are some thoughts that can help them get there closer?
Yeah, so this is great. So one, a couple of things. So one, when I was writing my book, Zarinah helped me so beautifully. Oh my gosh, my book would not be where it is without you, girl. So for me, I wasn't an avid reader or even a strong reader when I embarked upon my journey of writing a book. So with my content, the type of content, what I had to do was go find other authors that wrote about the same type of content and just got an idea of, like, a lookalike audience. So, okay, she speaks on the same thing as me. He speaks on the same thing as me. Let me go, check out their website or go to their Facebook page, do some research, because that person has a client that is so similar to mine. I can learn about my client or my reader by learning about their reader. So studying their reader, because I believe that success leaves clues. So that was, like, one of the first things that I did, in addition to starting to read books in the area that I wanted to read in. Like, that was the easiest thing that I could do initially. Now, so that was just to give me more insight. I did all of the initial work, the demographics, the psychographics, getting into the head, getting into the self-talk, getting into, like, their inner dialogue. So I've done that. The next step looked like, researching other key players, other key authors that shared a similar audience, and studied their audience, because they've already done research. They've already had a certain level of success. I read reviews, and in those reviews, I really learned a lot about my audience, especially because I didn't have a big audience at the time. I didn't have a full clientele like I do now to even learn about. Now, the second thing that I'll say.
Hold on 1 second. I just want to pause right there. I want you to catch what she just said, you all, because she said it real fast and you might not have caught it. But she said that she went and she found other books, right? That were in her area. So she read those authors' books, and then those authors who were working or serving the similar clients as hers, right? She said she read the reviews. She read the reviews, which gave her insight. So for those of you who are not yet having conversations with your target audience, this is a wonderful way. Like, you're reading words that they are writing themselves, unscripted words. So going into Amazon, going into Barnes and Noble and reading, or even going on Facebook and sort of reading some reviews and such, gives you the words that your actual readers are saying to themselves. So I just wanted to make sure you guys caught that. And I hope you all are taking notes, because a lot of what she's saying here can be applied to not only the book, but also, again, to just life and many of the things that you want to do. She's giving you foundational tips that you're going to be able to build upon. So don't miss them. Don't miss them. Okay.
Perfect. So the next thing I would suggest doing, whether you, like, whatever you're writing about, you're passionate about it, it's your story. Someone has benefited from this, whether they paid or not. So if you already have a business and you have clients and you're writing about that, the content that you share with your clients in this book, then you want to go and ask your clients, you know, you can learn more about your clients. Ask them some questions. Why did you choose to work with me? What do you enjoy about working with me? What was your biggest takeaway? Because oftentimes I've had so many clients who shared with me takeaways from working with me that was never even a benefit that I even openly shared. Like, they are teaching me what my work is actually doing from them. So I'm able to add on or stack up the deliverables based off the survey. So that can be a survey. My clients, we usually see each other every 2 weeks. So after every session, I'm asking them, like, they just know it. And so I record and I go back and listen, and I am taking notes and putting it in a file so that when I'm updating my content, my copy anywhere, I put in the new testimonials. I use new words that my clients are using. Now, if you don't have paid clients, or, you know, you're fresh and new at this, I still want you to think about people that you've worked with, you've given advice to or guidance to based off your content, and how did their lives change? You know, what outcome that they have, what transformation that they receive just by, you know, taking advantage of your complimentary advice. Mm-hmm. And so that's another way that I've gotten insight. And again, that this can be you just asking a couple of questions to a few people, or you can actually put it in a survey and incentivize people for completing those surveys that will allow you to better position your book and even better understand who you are in terms of what you provide. And lastly, I would say that I have found those Facebook groups to be like a mine of gold. I've seen where different people go in and say market research, and they ask the question, and the question was just like, oh yeah, that's a question I get all the time. And I look in the comments, and it's like 1,000 comments. Mm-hmm. You guys, I have a Google Drive full of screenshots from comments in those groups. I can't screenshot them fast enough because it's research. I'm like, that is a client sheet. They're doing what I do. That's a question that my clients answer. And then you have all these people that are giving their feedback, talking about their struggles. And I was like, this is juicy for my book. Clients who's struggling with X, Y, Z, you know, this is it. You know, so the research was done. All I had to do is be a part of those groups, contribute so that I can know what post and who comments and posts to follow and look under. And then whoever responds, I am all over those posts. So look and take advantage of those groups. Mm-hmm. And even ask your own, if you're part of some groups, even ask your own market research questions, because you'll be amazed of what will come out of that. Mm-hmm. So I'm always a give first person, but there are opportunities because I give and people know me. Even in those groups, I can go in and DM and ask a question, or people are used to my face or used to my name. I'll say that, used to my name, and they would happily answer, you know, anything that I would post in those groups. Mm-hmm. So I hope that was helpful.
That was amazing. So it's 2 things she said real quick again. I'm gonna make sure y'all got them. I'm gonna make sure you all are pulling out these nuggets. So one thing she said was surveys. She said, put out a survey, right? You can do a survey. This is a tool you can use while you're building the book, after the book is out. Like, you can use surveys over and over and over again. And she also mentioned like incentivize them to help them make sure they fill out the survey, right? So that was one thing. And then with the screenshots, so she's talking about being a participant observer, right? We talked about this. My Power authors should be all on this concept of being a participant observer, meaning you're going in those groups, right? You're participating and you're also observing from the periphery. Now, but what she said, what Coach Ty said, was that she said she takes screenshots and then she puts them where? In a Google Drive. So we're talking about organization. We're talking about being organized and keeping things in one central location so that you can then go back into that vault whenever you have a need, right? So you're not relying on what you're going to remember for that 5 minutes that you're in that group at that time. You're finding something, you're screenshotting it, and then she has an organizational system which for her is the Google Drive, right? So you all need to make sure that while you're doing your research, you don't rely on your brain to try to remember it all while you're in there, because you're going to forget. So you screenshot it, like she said, and then you put it into your Google Drive for your book, like for your research for your book. All right, that was amazing. Great. Okay, keep going, please. This is good.
Okay, awesome. So listen, once you get to know your client, so according to the couple of tips that we just shared and what you're already knowing, the more you get to know your clients, what do you do once you know them that's going to help you position yourself, that's going to help you really serve value to your community before your book launch? So there's a couple of things that you can do. The first thing, which I love, is to share your story. Share your story. Your story is the thing that separates you from anyone else. You may have someone that does the exact same thing as you, but guess what? They have not had your life experience. It doesn't matter if they have the exact same degrees as you, graduated at the same time as you, live in the same community as you, and drive the same car as you. What they do not have is your story. So your voice is so valuable. And so that's one of those things, again, that makes it so intimate. And I'm going to speak from a personal perspective here. What if my story and how I think is too out there? I don't know if people are going to identify with exactly how I feel. I don't want to come off as weird. So that would just make me hold back and not share my experience. But your story, which involves your perspective, your voice, and your opinions, which is the exact same thing that's going to make you a thought leader, you have to be okay with sharing that. And there is some risk in that, because you are opening yourself up to be examined by the world. But also the reward is there are some people out there that need to hear your story because they feel exactly how you feel, and you've just freed them. Your story has been the key that has unlocked something within them that brings them further out, which is why all of you are doing what you're doing. You're writing this book because you want to create transformation for people, and you want to leave a legacy that allows other people to step up even higher and evolve into their higher purpose. And so that's what I'm all about. And so when I think about this is why I'm here on earth, then if it takes me, navigating this little discomfort, if it's going to take me getting out my comfort zone, then that's what it is. That's the price that I'm paying to be a thought leader. That's the price that I'm paying to be an influencer. That's the cost that I have to pay to make the impact that I know that I'm capable of creating in this world. And so your story is that thing that's going to set you apart, hands down. And so you have to share that story. And it's okay if you stumble through it. It's okay if it's not perfect. Because what I've learned, and I used to be one of those perfect patsies. I hate going live because when I go live, I trip over my tongue. I practiced it a million times, first of all. But then when I go live, I trip over my tongue and I can't delete it. I can't start over. I hated that, right? And so where I am now is that I go live, and if I stumble, if I forget my thought, I just dog, y'all, I forgot my thought. I just have a moment okay, my thought went away. In a minute, it's going to come back and I'll share it. I just say it like that, right? And let me tell you, my people came closer. That was relatable. That made me human. And people want the human interaction. They do not want a robot. And so if any of you are like me, who hold yourselves back because of your ability, I'm not going to be perfect. I don't know if I can really articulate what I'm trying to say. Just get it out there. Perfect practice makes perfect practice. I don't know if say practice don't make perfect. Perfect practice make perfect performance.
Yes, right.
And so
I
you just
want
have
to
to
say
keep
one thing real quick, because today in the group, as a reminder, is our Go Live Wednesday. So they are all going live today. For Wednesday, they go live at least a minimum of once a week, but we're going to increase that. But right now they're going at least a minimum of once a week. But I love the fact that you said it's okay to be relatable and it's okay to be human while you're live. It's not supposed to be like a movie where it has to be every exact word right there. It's not like that. You're just talking. Live is like a conversation that you're having with somebody. So thank you for saying that.
I love that. So you want to share your story. The next thing you want to do is share social proof. Now, social proof, these are all things that's going to help position you for opportunities, for revenue, for book sales once your book is launched. And one thing I know is that people vet you publicly before they buy from you privately. And so you need to take this opportunity, this runway while you are still writing your book, to share social proof. Now, if you have clients or you have individuals that you shared your brilliance with, and they've gotten a result, simply share those testimonials, right? Share how what you do is actually creating change. Also, if you don't have clients, but borrow someone else's story that really serves as like proof for what you're writing. So you might not have your own clients yet. You might not have your own stories to share, but you can always borrow other stories that really elevate, that really establish the point that you're making in your book, or really speak to what you do as an expert, right? And so use other people's stories. So use your own stories, use other people's stories, share social proof. Under that social proof as well, when you have like other influential people that speak highly of you, maybe Coach Zarinah speak highly of you or your book, and I see that she does that all the time. That's social proof. Someone else who's influential is basically using their credibility and visibility to increase, to elevate, to enhance your credibility or visibility. And so that's always powerful. So share social proof. So that can be stories, testimonials, but it also can be words from other influential people. And then last but not least, this is the one that most of my clients struggle with the most. And someone here might do the same thing. Every now and again, you need to go on and toot your own horn in public. Like toot your own horn. So this is not just like a testimonial that you're sharing. I'm talking about go live and say, guys, I just did the dang on thing. I just worked with my client on XYZ, and today she just texted me. And so I'll turn my phone around and like this thing just happened. So you need to toot your own horn, and you need to do that often. And I used to resist that so much. I thought people would think I was being arrogant, or that she's a know-it-all, or who does she think she is? And you know what? At the end of the day, that's my resume. These are the things that we have to ground and anchor ourselves in, because guess what? As those that are out in the public, there's plenty of opportunity for people to tear you down. And you should not be one of those people tearing you down. And the other thing about it is that if you're not bold enough to start your own fire, then no one's going to come join the party. No one's going to pay you attention. And so when you're tooting your own horn, you are in essence flaming your own flames, and you are attracting people to you because they see smoke. They see Ty doing something. She's up to something. And opportunity after opportunity come because I have had the courage to toot my own horn. But I had to shift. And tooting my own horn, I'll just add this. It's never about self-promotion. I don't promote myself to make myself feel good. I have really learned how to come out of that high ego individual into more of a serving space where I am now. And so it's not about self-promotion, it's about cause promotion. I toot my own horn in a way to let people know what I do and the results that I get. Like, I'm for real about this. Like, I'm not coming to play games. And so if you are not serious about getting this transformation, I'm not your coach, I'm not your person, I'm not your woman. And so when I'm speaking about myself and what I've accomplished in terms of, it could be results from clients, it can be, these could be awards, these could be accomplishments. Like, I'm proud that I received my certification in positive psychology coaching. People would not have known that I have that. How does positive psychology coaching and neuro-linguistics have anything to do with sales and marketing? And so I have to share that by tooting my own horn, and it's opened up opportunities because I have that added credential, and I add this extra layer of texture to what I teach as a sales and marketing expert. It takes me to another level. And so I'm able to relate with the women that I primarily teach with. I'm able to relate with them in a different way. But it's about cause promotion, not self-promotion. So we look at it from the lens of cause promotion. You should feel so good about sharing your story, sharing social proof, and tooting your own horn at all times. Because how are you going to be the change if you're not willing to share with the world how you're actually making that change, how you're actually making that difference? And so all this comes under your purpose. Really ground yourself in your purpose. Really ground yourself in the awesome contribution that you were created to do in this world, and then go out there and share it, and share it on, shamelessly, right? So that's purpose. And then our last P is going to be around platform. And it's so awesome that today is the day that you guys go live. And what I love about platform, especially right now during COVID-19, there was a time when I built my first business. I built my first business to from 0 to 6 figures in 7 months as a hairstylist, guys. And we didn't have all this online platforms and all of this. I literally had to get out and pass out 25 cards a day, stayed out in the sun, didn't go home until I gave 25 cards out, went to networking events that were really not my thing, and I had to build it. I went to the people that I wanted to work with. I went to their jobs. Like, I put a lot of hustle and grind. Online is still a lot of hustle and grind, but it was just differently. I'm saying this to say that right now we have this blessed opportunity where everybody, I've looked at so many statistics. I even had a statistic from Forbes that says like online, I guess, usage has like tripled since COVID, which means that your ideal reader, your ideal client, they are online. We have what we call a captive audience. They are captive by this screen. I go to my kid's room right now, he's on his phone. All through the day, I'm constantly checking some type of social media, reading something. I'm listening to podcasts. So your readers are out there. Guess what? You need to be out there too, but you don't need to be out there just all willy-nilly. You need to be strategic. And so in terms of your platform, according to your ideal reader, understanding which platform they're on the most and what time they're on that platform, because times make a difference. If your ideal reader works a 9-to-5 job, they're probably coming home, or if they're not already working at home, they'll probably take some time to get their kids settled, get something to eat, and maybe around 7 o'clock or 7:30, 8 o'clock, now they're just having some mindless time online. That's when you want to go be online. That's when you want to go live, when they're online. Now, if you're dealing with, say, for instance, stay-at-home moms, when the school year starts, they may, their day might be filled with teaching their children. But right now, well, I think school has already started. Just say before school started, when it was more summer. You might have stay-at-home moms who they would love to take a break in the middle of the day while maybe their children are taking a nap. And so now your ideal time to go online or go live is going to be in the middle of the day. So I just want to give you an idea, like really understanding who your client is will help you better understand, what time to go live to really serve them at that highest level. Like, you're thinking about what time is going to be best for them. When are the most of my clients are going to be available? And so that's the first thing I want to lead in. The second thing I want to share in terms of your platform is that you don't want to try to build and nurture audiences in 3 or 5 different places at the same time. Most times you end up with a scattered list or a scattered audience. You go live on LinkedIn, you got 3 people. You go live on Facebook, you got 20 people. You go live on Instagram, you got 7 people. I've been there, I've done that, and I've worn myself out doing that. And so what I recommend is really finding out the number one platform that your audience is and focus on that platform, one platform. Now, I've had several people to tell me that this is not the way to do it. I've sort of switched. I've just added on a second platform, which is Instagram. But Facebook is really where my audience lives. And so you want to be in those two places, 1 or 2 of those places. If you serve a business client, LinkedIn might be your place. If you serve a business client, then you definitely want to be more engaged on LinkedIn. If you can use short and snappy sound bites, Twitter might be your platform. That's not me. Not Twitter. I talk a lot. I'm long. I have a hard time condensing it. It took me like 3 years to get my intro down. So I can't do Twitter. But if you're good with that, now I do show up on camera well. And so one of the things I want to do more is really be more intentional with YouTube, like having a YouTube channel. Haven't started it yet, But I know that that's an area that I feel like I can really thrive because I show up on camera well and I like to be very relatable. And oftentimes I can just teach my content pretty plainly. So you have to determine which platforms. And the platform that you determine is going to be one, which one are you most comfortable with? And so I also say, like, if you are not like, I'm assuming that you guys are writers. I wasn't a strong writer, or either I didn't feel like I was a strong writer when I was writing my book. So I didn't like to write a lot. I would just rather show up and talk. And so I would record videos, or I would go live as a preference to writing out captions. I would just struggle with writing captions. So whatever platform allow you to do what comes most natural to you, what you feel good about, right? You want to do that. Now, the second thing that you want to do is that after you choose like how you want to show up, choose like primarily one platform. And so for right now, kind of go ahead and get into your mind, which platform do you feel like is right? Have you already been going live on several platforms? You know, have you measured your growth? Like, if you've been going live on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and Instagram is the one that you're getting the most engagement, then maybe you should shift most of your focus to Instagram versus a Facebook or a LinkedIn. So what are your metrics, and what are your metrics telling you? Because these are going to be the things that allow you to focus and be more intentional with your building, so that when your book comes out, you already have a warm audience that are used to learning from you, and they're looking forward to celebrating with you and also purchasing whatever you're providing. Right now, when you do this, there's two things that you want to do. Once you pick your platform, you want to create quality content that gives value. And this again goes back to knowing your audience. What are their needs? You know, what do they want the answers to right now? Based off what you're writing about, how can you tweak that content to meet the moment? How can you take the content, whatever you're writing on, and make it fit right now to this moment, like anything related to COVID, whether you're leaning into it or leaning away from it? Leaning into it is, you know, you may get all into the, what you talk about might get into, I would say, the hard stuff, the emotional stuff, the politics, you might want to lean into the political parts of what's going on, the social justice parts, and get right into that. Make your content meet that content. Or you can lean out of it, which is me. Leaning out of it, I want to give people a place of rest from that. So when you come to my space, I'm not talking about social justice. I'm not talking about politics. No, we're talking about peace. We're talking about self-empowerment. We're talking about mindfulness. We're talking about, you know, anti-anxiety and anti-stress techniques. Like, what do you need to do to get away from all of that? That's what I lean into when I'm talking. And so just how can you make what you're talking about in your content be real in your book that's forthcoming, be relevant right now, because that's going to lead into your book. It's going to help people be ready to receive your book when it comes out. I think another thing that I will add here is for you to, I said focus on quality content. And then secondly, I want you to focus on high engagement. So high engagement, this is when you do go live. You need to, you know, if someone comments, you need to respond to every comment in a thoughtful way. Not just, you know, not just a heart or not just an emoji. And what I often say is, like, make your comment match their content, their comment. So if they commented under your live and it was this long, you really want to respond something like, don't respond with one sentence or one word, because they're going to feel like, oh, that I done poured out my heart to her, and she just said one, you know, she just typed good or yes, amazing. Nobody wants that. Like, you want to cultivate and nurture that relationship. Now, if they gave you one sentence that's like this, you kind of want to mirror that. Give them one or two sentences back in the same way. And so you want to have that engagement. And also, in terms of engagement, these are the people that take the time to comment on your post, or to comment on your live, or, you know, or to share your post. These are what I consider loyal fans. I also put them in a Google Drive. Seriously. I take note of their name, and I also like look at their comment. And if they're always, and I take note if they share, because I'm telling you, it's so hard to get somebody to share some these days. So if they share it, they go at the top of my loyal fan list. And then anyone that comments, I don't put, they don't go on my email list, but I do create a list of those followers, because when I'm doing certain things, I tag those individuals in my post or in my lives if they have already proven to be high engagers. So they go on my loyal fan list. And because listen, people often have the misconception that it takes a lot of people to create a highly successful business in terms of both transformation, but also in terms of revenue generation. You don't need a lot of people. For me, my goal is 100 people. Like my first goal is 100 loyal fans. And these are not people that have paid anything, bought anything from me yet. Some of them have, but these are just people who they, through their engagement, they've told me or shown me that they love what I talk about. They're with me. They believe in me. They reflect my values. These are going to be the people that are going to be the first ones to buy whenever I am selling something. These are going to be the people that share me with their friends. They sort of become my unpaid ambassadors, and yours too. So you want to take note of these individuals. Do not overlook them. Like so often we overlook these individuals. And these are going to be the people that you might want to, depending on what they share and comment. I've literally had clients come out of just nurturing. The comment was so heavy, or it was deep in a sense, that I reached out to their DM and then made an additional suggestion comment in their DM that later led to them asking for a conversation that led to money, like revenue. And so do not overlook your high engagers, and really focus on it. For each of you, if you can focus on your first 100 loyal fans. Again, loyal fans are not individuals that have paid you anything yet. These are just high engagers. They're liking, they're commenting, and they're sharing. Pay attention to these individuals. Pay attention to every time that how often they're commenting, how often they're sharing. Right now, I have like pretty much the same people. I know that they're going to come in or share, right? And so I like to give these people some extra nurturing. And I even like around when your book is coming out, that can be an opportunity, because you're giving them that extra nurturing to see if they want to, be one of your readers, like to review a certain part of your book, or even if they would want to, make a list of 10 people that will, buy the Kindle version of your book on launch day. But all of this comes out of taking the time right now to intentionally identify them and nurture them ahead of time. So it's not necessarily at this point, it's not about asking them to buy anything. It's about building relationships, which is your most valuable asset in business. Our people, relationships are your most valuable asset. And then the other thing, so that goes to like focusing on quality people, not quantity. So focus on quality. You want quality engagers. The other thing that I'll say here is this this is going to be your opportunity as well for those who might feel resistance to going live or struggle with going live. The platform, what I said is choose a platform that you already have good engagement. You have some people that look forward to you coming live, but also with that platform, you want to choose a platform that allows you to operate freely in whatever way, like whatever visibility strategy that you enjoy the most. So whether it's writing or whether it's going live, that's a visibility strategy. So you want to choose the platform that allows you to do that. And then lastly, I'll just say in terms of your platform is be consistent. Be consistent. Once you choose a platform, you like really set a time or set a date that you can commit to and show up. Because your people, the ones that want to hear from you, they're already, whether you announce it or not, they're like, oh, she normally go live around this time. Where's she at today? Where they at today? And so you're sort of establishing an expectation. And so you want to go live consistently at the same, whether it's going to be, whether you go, I don't know if you want to go live, but I'm just going to say post content or go live. So whether you're posting content Monday through Friday, or whether you're posting content on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, Whatever that is, you want to stick to it. Because these individuals, you are teaching them, one, how to learn from you, but you're also teaching them when to expect you. And when they start, I know for me, certain people I like to listen to, I began to build my calendar. I put it on, like if Z was to say she was going live, I have done that. So, because I'm so busy, I have to put it in my calendar. So what if I show up and you decided for whatever reason that you're not showing up today? What it does, it undermines your expertise. Is you're actually showing people that you're not reliable. You're not dependable. I'm looking for you where you at, but also, people can't, I mentioned earlier that people vet you publicly. I've had several clients when I'm in that conversation of down the road after you've written the book and now they love your content, but now they're trying to make a decision whether or not they're going to work with you. I've had people to go back 4 years. I've literally, been woke up and had like 60 likes on Facebook. They went all the way back to 2016 because they're trying to see how consistent, how far my expertise go back. How far? Is this new for her? And so being consistent also allows you to build that track record and position yourself over time as that expert, as that go-to person. Why is this important? Because you don't want people to be thinking that they're your guinea pig. Nobody wants to pay someone when they're first, is really hard when they're first coming out. So whether you're first coming out or not, if you're over a period of time sprinkling your expertise where they can go back and track that you've been doing this for a while, it really increases your conversion rate in terms of leveraging your book for greater opportunities and revenue generating opportunities. So I'm going to pause right there. I want to see it. Yeah, I'll pause right there.
Yeah, I just want to say this is some amazingly beautiful content, and so many little nuggets with the 100 fans. I think that makes it so easy, so tangible.
Yeah.
So tangible and so real that we can see. Like, I don't need to try to get on the New York Times bestseller right out the gate. I don't need to have 15,000 people that like my Facebook page in order for me to have a success with what we're doing. And I think the other thing that you just mentioned, and you all can put your questions into the chat box, or we'll maybe just unmute you. You can ask questions that way as well. But those of you who are here, we'll unmute you. But like everyone here who is working on their book, right? Like, they have at least 4 to 5 more months or so before their book is coming out. So as you're saying, like, with being consistent and with nurturing relationships for 4 or 5 months, when the time the book actually comes out, like, they'll have built up that loyal fan base. They'll have those people that love them. But I wanted to ask you, like, what are your thoughts around email lists? Because I haven't really talked to them about email lists a lot. So some of them may have MailChimp or something like this. But I'm wondering for you, what are your thoughts around email lists and building that up, or what do you see that they should do?
Yeah, I think email list is great. I don't have the biggest email list, but when I tell you, because I'm consistent with, I was consistent. I'm not going to say before these last 3 months.
Yeah,
I'm very good. These last 3 months, honestly, I've got crazy off, just really focusing on self. But before that, they have been consistent with nurturing and learning the different type of emails to share just to keep them consistent. I'm telling you, my people have started responding back with letters to to the email. So I think email lists are very important. These are pretty much people that have shared in some way. They've made a transaction with you. Take my email address. I want to hear from you. So these are warm people that already most times for them to exchange their information, they already see you as someone that can contribute value to their lives. And so they are not just signing up for your email list to not hear from you. They're signing up to your email list to learn from you because they respect something about you. You have something that they need. And so when you're really serious about creating that influence having an influence and impact positive change in the lives of people, one of the best things that you can do is build rapport. And the more you build rapport and focus on relationship, honestly, revenue generation just comes out of that. Again, this is something where these are probably going to be some of your loyal fans as well, that when you are having an event, when you are sharing your book, when you need something from them, they're going to be there to support you because it's been a mutual exchange. You've been given to them in the form of your email list over a period of time. Now, when you ask them for something, they're ready to give back. But that doesn't happen if you just get them on the email list and do nothing. Or that can't happen if you never start your email list. My email list, I think I probably have 238 people. So not even a very big email list. But there have been launches that I've done, events that I've hosted, that I've been able to create 5-figure launches or 5-figure events just off an email list of 238 people, because I like to make sure that the people that are on my list, they actually know what they're here for, and they know how often they're going to hear from me, and they know what they're going to be learning from me. And as long as I stay on point with those things, they don't mind opening my email. Right. So I definitely think that as an author, having an email list should be a part of your marketing. It needs to be a part of your marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you. And you said quality, not quantity. I love it.
Quality.
All right, let's open it up for Q&A. Ty, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I got a lot of nuggets for myself, as well. I really love this whole concept of the 100. I think that's going to help them a lot. And then knowing their metrics. You mentioned that quickly as well. Now, I should probably bring it out for them. But you said, like knowing your metrics, know your engagement, see how many comments and things, so that while you're testing, while you're putting ideas out, while you're doing different lives, then you're seeing what's resonating with your people. So if you all power authors get into your head about like following some of your metrics as you continue to go, so that you get valuable data. You get valuable data that you can then test and tweak to come out. So let's open it up for Q&A. So we have Zuberi, Tasha, Linese, Heather, Carmen, Anissa, Zarinah, Amina, and Amina. So let's see what questions you all have. And if you don't have a question yet, what is your takeaway from this session? What did you get out of this session that you're going to implement right now with your building of your platform for your work? All right, Tasha.
Hello, Ty, and thank you so much for this session. This was actually amazing. I got a lot of takeaway from it, but I also wanted to thank Zarinah, because a lot of the things that you have been talking about are things that she had already been instilling and talking to us about. And I guess I wanted to give myself a pat on the back, because I have been implementing a lot of these things that you have been talking about as well. I have been doing a contributor interview series because I'm doing an anthology, and she talked about being consistent. So I do it every Monday at 7:30 p.m. And so I put out a flyer. She told me to put out a flyer. Everything she tells me to do, I implement it, and it's been helping me.
Best student ever. Best student ever.
I implement everything that she tells me, and it's been helping me tremendously. So I want to thank her, and thank you both. And all of these things are wonderful, fun, wonderful tips. A lot of the things I have been doing, but it's some other things that I need to work on and do. Focus on the just quality people, not quantity, and still kind of trying to move and find my purpose. But I'm hopefully on the way to doing that with my book. But I've been making some amazing connections and things on this journey, and I'm loving it. So thank you again.
I love that.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
So Tasha, what do you feel like you need? Like what do you feel you're going to implement from what Ty was talking about? Like what nugget, what one thing in addition are you going to add to what you're already doing?
So when she was talking about following the metrics of the people and how they engage, that's a big thing for me. I know it's a lot of people that have been, well, not a lot of people, but a few people that have been sharing my lives, my Black Girl Magic Mondays. They've been sharing, so I'm like, okay, I need to focus on those people and the high engagers, and just following those types of things. And then also, at first, I didn't pay attention to the people that were commenting, because I was just so focused on just trying to get my interview questions and just nervous and all of that stuff. But I'm starting to kind of pay attention to the people that are making comments, because they make those comments because they want you to say something about them or something like that. So all of those things are things that I am going to focus on, and that I've taken away that I'm going to implement.
Awesome. Yay. Good job for you.
Awesome. Now, one of the things I do want to share, based off what Tasha just shared, is that I think all of you guys should set an intention. So as you're going live, be very clear on a specific goal of your live. So if you're right now you're creating, you wanted to warm up your audience, you might have a goal to have people to share, or to maybe even to join your email list. So having a clear call to action. Like I like to say, like every time you go live, it needs to have an objective and an intention. So the objective is what you want to give to your audience. What is the objective of you going live? What's the purpose? Like, why? And then the intention is what's in it for you. Why are you doing this? You're doing this so that what? And so that so that what could be connected to your call to action. So it could be to join my email list. It could be to drop your email if you want this free thing. It could be give a specific call to action, but just one call to action that's going to help you really be intentional, even to get to that 100 fans. Like to see who comments or who responds to get your 100 fans. You may say, I want to have 20 fans, 20 new fans by October. So every time you go live, you're making a call to action to invoke some type of response so that you can add and get to your extra 20 people, like get to those 20 people. So make a clear goal. Don't just go live to go live. Have a purpose for why you're going live.
I love that. All right. So Heather said, great info. Cater to your top 100 fans is my takeaway. So that's going to be her thing.
Thanks, Heather.
Thank you for sharing your expertise. Okay, Amina says, I'm looking forward to start doing my lives on Instagram. I'm active on Facebook and Instagram, and also reach out to my audience. I would like to do a survey. Do you have any suggestions for people who are doing like their first survey? Like, how do you really kind of go about attacking that?
Yeah, so one, you need to be clear on like what information are you trying to gather from the survey. That's going to determine, what questions. I often like to say, if you're not going to incentivize them, it needs to be between like 1 to 3. Like it'll take 30 seconds to answer this one question, or you want to keep it short, especially if you're not incentivizing them. Oftentimes I have 2 different surveys for clients, or for prospective clients, I might have 10 questions on there. For like, if I'm sending, like asking someone in a group for whatever reason, or someone that commented on my post to give me extra information, I'm going to limit that to 1, but no more than 3 questions in that particular case. Cause I like to be able to say, it'll only take 5 minutes. It'll only take 1 minute. And most people don't mind if they already revere you. They see that you are participating in those particular groups. They won't mind giving you, 5 minutes answering 1 or 3 questions, but you definitely don't want to overdo it. So I'll say use that 1 or 1 to 3 questions for that survey. And then in terms of apps or tools that I use what am I using? Typeform. And then the other one is that I haven't used this a lot, is with Google. I think someone
Google
Forms, that's what it was, Google Forms. I had someone create Google Forms for me. But those are the top 2 tools that I'm using right now in terms of creating my surveys.
Awesome. All right, so let's see. Amina, Anissa, or Zarinah, Carmen, Lightniece, Zuberi, do you all have any questions? I want you all, as we're going through these, and as you all have the opportunity to meet more of the Power Mentors, like people pay Ty thousands of dollars to sit at her feet and study from her and have her give them insight on what it is that they're doing. You have this ability now to ask the question of, the illustrious Coach Ty that people are pulling all these other places. Like, so you want to get into the habit of utilizing these opportunities to the fullest, right? To the fullest. So that's just that. Okay, so let's see. I saw you unmute yourself. You can go ahead, Dr. Anissa.
Yes. I first want to thank you, Ty, for being here today. Thank you to Zarinah
for bringing her on to share with us. A couple of things like really resonated with me, and that is, and I didn't realize this, is the importance of the time I choose to be live, to go live, that it would coordinate or be a time that would be beneficial for my group and the group that I want to focus on. So that was really helpful for me. And also the importance of being consistent and doing this on a regular basis. Like, so when you first asked us to do it, Zarinah, I didn't see it the same way. So now I'm beginning to see the benefit behind it for myself and for the people that I want to work with. So I just wanted to thank you for that. I mean, this was a lot. I took a lot of notes and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Zarinah?
You guys have any questions?
I probably do, but you know how it is. You don't know what you don't know. And right now, I'm just absorbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is some of it was familiar, but a lot of it wasn't. So I just got to absorb it for a while. Yeah. So I may come back with questions.
Yes. You know, the thing about this stuff is like what Ty mentioned as far as consistency. It's like sometimes you can hear things, but if you don't actually do it, if you don't actually implement, it's not going to move the needle in your life, right? It's not going to move the needle in your business. And so like now you're hearing things that you need to like take it in. This is for everybody, right? We need to take it in, and then we have to actually implement. So everyone here should be taking at least just one thing that Ty mentioned. You know, she went over 3 Ps, right? At least just one thing that she mentioned and make it a habit for yourself. Like take that one thing and implement it. If you do that, then you will have gotten something out of this session. If you just listen to Ty talk and be like, oh, she's so cute, man, look at her, like she got that jewelry, oh, she's so smart, and then you don't implement anything, then, you know, what's it for as far as you? So always get in the habit of everybody that you listen to, even if it's a lot of information, like pick one thing that you can do and you can implement and you can take that habit from her. This is going to be your Ty habit. This is the thing you learn from her, and this is going to be that habit that you're going to take and you're going to implement, because you will see results when you do that thing consistently. So awesome.
I guess I have a question now about the email list idea, and if there's is there something that Ty would recommend to use to create those emails?
So I use Convertkit. What are you using, Zarinah? I use Convertkit because I'm not real techie, and I get confused. My brain freezes when I start having to do too much like on the technology end. And Convertkit was the most user-friendly for me, and their customer service was just awesome to help me walk through. And so Convertkit is what I use for my email. But you also have Constant Contact is one. What is another? I think those are the ones I know there's another one, but those are the 2 that I'm most familiar with. I know a lot of people use, which, Infusionsoft, which is that thing is a beast. So if you're just starting, you may not want to do an Infusionsoft, but Convertkit, I think is something like $29 a month and is worth every penny that I pay for it, right? So Convertkit.
So I'll send you guys a list of different ones. You know, I started with Convertkit too, like Ty, and I loved Convert. I honestly wish I had never switched from Convertkit. I loved it that much. It was so easy. And then I switched to ClickFunnels, and I didn't like that. And then I moved from ClickFunnels to ActiveCampaign. Now, ActiveCampaign is like a big, robust, system, but I pay hundreds of dollars a month for that system. It does a lot of stuff, more stuff than I even do, with it. But it's a great system. But I will send you all, because we have like affiliate links for all the different systems that you could possibly use. So Convertkit is one I would recommend for you all. There's also one called Mailerlite, Mailerlite. There's one called Mailerlite that I set up for a couple of our private clients. I set that one up for them and I liked it. It was really easy. It does automation, which is great. It does, meaning it can send out things on a regular basis for you without you having to go in and doing it manually. So that was great. And then there's MailChimp, which is free up to a certain number of contacts as well. But we have actually a list of resources for you all. So I'll just make sure that Ali sends you all that list of resources. So for those of you who want to get started with creating your mailing list, and you want to go the free route, we'll send you those, right? You can start with this, but you are going to outgrow it. So you should just already know, if I go the free route, there's going to be a point where I have to switch over, right? And I'm going to have to move over. You should just know that. And then if you want to start with the paid services, there are some that we can, show you how to start with those. But that's a great question. And I'll say, even right now, like what you can do today, right off jump, without any other system, is you can make a simple Google form, right? Like we talked about Google Forms. I made a tutorial for you all on Google Forms in the portal. So you can make a simple Google form. Hey, and you can put that and it will capture the email. So at least like you have a list of people. You may not be sending them stuff out regularly yet, but it's something that you can do like immediately for free. Okay. All right. Zuberi.
Yes, welcome. And I want to thank you guys for even doing this. Ty, this is really great. And it just builds on some of the things that I know I need to do. And so for me, my takeaway is focusing on high engagement. People comment all the time and they send me stuff. And I think I've taken that for granted. Like I know they're there. And so I don't have to do anything. But I think that's something that I'm really going to focus on, is really engaging and responding all the time, so that's one thing. And the second thing I'm running to is that I'm doing an anthology and I need like 50 women. I'm running to the problem where friends, everyone knows that I'm doing it and they all want to be in. It's like, okay, we're friends. I didn't anticipate that would be an issue, right? But it is an issue because I sent some just to some, I have like 400 people on my email list, and I just sent out a tester, and everybody's saying, well, I know I'm going to be in because we're friends. And so I'm kind of struggling with that because I want people to be part of this project that I don't know. I didn't anticipate that would be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Ty, how do you balance between like friends that want to be in your stuff and building your, your platform too? Like, how do you balance that?
So I compartmentalize. So if you wanted to be, if you wanted to partner and do business with me, then this is what a compartmentalize. And I have my friends understand that as a businesswoman in this space, the businesswoman takes precedence over the friend, not over the friendship, but I'm going to be speaking to you from a business woman perspective, not from my friend perspective. When we're friends and we're out to lunch, just girl, do your thing, then we are friends first. And if business come up, then we're going to have a separate meeting for business. I just have grown to set healthy boundaries. So in terms of what you're talking about, they want to be a part of the book project, just like everyone else. They need to attend if you have had a book project call, or if you set up a book project call, or if you have a certain process in place that they need to go through to qualify them to be a part. They need to go through the same qualification process as everyone else. And so that's what it is. And so that means qualification process, also, the financial investment. If they can't make it in full, this is the payment arrangement. But I will say that for me, it took some time, because oftentimes when you're dealing with friends, or when you're growing outside of just your family friend community, when people see you elevate, or they want to be a part of what you do, but they have not yet fully embraced that there is a cost to be affiliated and to grow with you from where they knew you to grow, continue to evolve with you. There is a cost that comes with that. And if they want to continue to evolve and grow with you and be known with you, then they're going to have to raise their expectation, right? And my friends just know that. So I've had some people to back off, like Ty doing her thing. She different. That's fine. I'm not different, but I reflect to them my movement and action highlights their inaction and their, just we're in different spaces now. And I have to honor and respect that they're in different spaces. I don't write them off, but, I just have to, my engagement with them is different. I think that's the best way. It's just one, if this is a book anthology, you're in this because this is a part of your business growth to create revenue, right? As you are writing their stories out. So understanding first, this is a business decision. Is this person or your friend, are they capable of upholding a business relationship with you?
Yeah. And that makes sense. I'm a mental health counselor in private practice, and I've set clear boundaries. My friends know that we don't talk. They're not asking me questions about, what would you do? Because I always tell them, either give me the insurance card or it's $150 an hour, right? And so, when I go places, people are, I'm real clear. I'm here in this setting. We're not talking about counseling. I'm not talking about relationships. If you want an appointment, this is what my next appointment is, and this is what that costs. And so I don't have that, but I think I need to transfer that to the book. It's what it sounds like. I need to be able to say, hey, I do want you guys to apply, and it doesn't mean you're going to get accepted, which has nothing to do with our relationship.
Yeah. And I think like Ty started this whole thing off about as far as like being authentic, right? And like she said, I show up as myself. And I think in most things, being truthful, and being trustworthy with being truthful, what it is, so you could just let them know, like, hey, like I only have this many slots and I've reserved maybe half of them for friends or such, and then the other half I'm gonna have. Yeah. So just clear that and make it easy.
Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. All right, so we have like 4 more minutes. Miss Ty, I can't be keeping her on the clock. We got like 4 more minutes. So I'll take one more question and then we'll close out for this Power Author guest instructor. So any last question? Carmen, you always quiet. Carmen, do you have a question?
I don't have a question, but I thank you, Zarinah and Ty, for this live. I've taken down so many different notes. A lot of them I know I should be doing, have been doing, but I'm going to start implementing more of them. The biggest thing for me right now is the going live and engaging with my audience. I'll be honest, I don't like how I look when I go live, so I don't do it. I can take pictures all day and post them, but going live is a thing for me. So I'm going to have to find some way to go live, even if I just sit there and don't move and just talk. I just got to figure it out. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys.
But Carmen, I want to thank you so much for your transparency. I have been staring at your beautiful, inviting picture at the bottom of the screen. And I also see that you have butterflies around your head. So you're already just speaking to the woman that you are evolving into, and that you're open to change and you're open to transformation. And so 2 things here I want you to keep in mind is that, one, in terms of going live, and if there's a body image thing there, because I've definitely been there, I would say one, because I would say one, be intentional with showering yourself with additional self-love, additional positive affirmations that build you up. I had to learn how to accept myself, and at all phases. So while you're working and growing and on your physical, your body goals, is it physical related, like a body goal, still learning to embrace and love every version of yourself, and just reminding myself of that allowed me to just come out. I have right now, you can't probably see it here, but I have skin issues. I just break out in the biggest craters, pimples ever. And when I would get a pimple, I would always want to cancel. Like, I'm not doing live, I'm not canceled, I have this pimple. And it just seemed like my breakouts accelerated, which means that I'm not going to be going live for months. What that was an opportunity for me to grow and accept myself and just say, hey, like right now, I really can't even see the pimple. It's there, I feel it. But I can't really see it, but I also had to affirm myself, and to also just understand that while you're working through this, when you are led by your cause compels you to push past whatever resistance you have around yourself. So when you put it in the mind frame of I'm showing up to serve them, and I'm not going to not show up, because that would be sort of, self-centered, and asking yourself, is this really a reason to justify withholding this knowledge from those who need me? And so that's just sort of a frame that I had to do for myself. As a stretch goal for you too, Carmen, I would say to set up your camera on like a tripod stand, and feel pretty, dress up, put your makeup where you feel pretty, whatever makes you feel pretty and makes you feel comfortable. And then try to just record a series of 1 to 3 minute videos. So that maybe the same content that you would do if you were to go live, break it up into pre-recorded and just drop it on social media as a stretch goal, to just sort of groove you into you just knowing that I'm out there in the world and that people are seeing me as I am. I'm not totally comfortable in my skin at the moment, but it's sort of like you don't have to be live with it. You can sort of just put it out there. And it's almost like a getting used to. I think about sort of like we used to get fish a lot when we were younger, and we would have the fish in the bag, and then they would say, well, just put the fish bag, don't put them right in there, but put the bag inside of the fish tank to allow the fish to get used to the temperature of the water, and for the other fish to know that, hey, we got a new friend coming. This sort of technique will sort of be that for you. A nice little introduction phase into your live. So I think that'll be good for you.
Thank you so much.
And Carmen, I want to see your face the next time we have our group meeting, because it'll be private, right? And so that means it's just us, so you can get comfortable with being on camera with just us as well. So those of you who will be here tomorrow, we're going to be here tomorrow, 1 p.m. for my office hours. Again, next Tuesday with Sarah for the writing hour. And then, show up, because when you show up, you glow up. All right. So, Ty, I thank you so much. Everybody give it up for her. Woo!
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. You were great.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, you're amazing, Ty. And, we send you love. We send you, support. We send you prayers. We send you everything that you want, whatever it is that your heart is desiring or whatever. We're praying for that for you. Like one of the things that we started off when we started doing these Power Author sessions was that we said we were creating like a cocoon of love, a cocoon of support, right? So you are now in our cocoon. You are in our cocoon. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And so everybody, we're all prayerful people. So they will be saying a prayer for you as one of our guest instructors for being here. And so we just thank you for your generosity. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. I just had someone to ask how to connect with me. Is it okay if I share my information?
Yes, thank you. Please do. Yes.
So I would reach out to me directly to my email, which is ty@tymiles.com. Let me pop this in the comments. ty@tymiles. So yes, please email me if you have any additional questions that come up after this is over. I'm definitely available. I have a freebie, guys, but I did not have it ready in time. I'll be sure to send it to Zarinah, and she can share it with you guys later. So I'll still get that to you. But definitely, for the time being, if you need me, have questions, reach out to me via email. Also, I have one ask. If you all are on LinkedIn, if you would go share, like now that you've experienced me, if you could share a review, or what do they call a recommendation, just write a review or recommendation of your experience from today. I would greatly appreciate that. That's just one of the things I'm working on now, is just increasing my profile on LinkedIn. And that's one of the ways that you guys can help me. So yes. I would appreciate that.
Yes.
For sure. Definitely.
Zarinah, that was great. Will we have her back again?
Oh, they want you back. Oh,
I'm asking. It was great. It was great. I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate it.
Oh, wonderful. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see whenever she's available. I'll reach out to her again. You know, when you guys go to the next level or whatever, and we'll see if she
Okay.
pop in
Okay.
again.
Thank you.
But I definitely want you all. Whenever she sends me the link, I'll send that out to you all, so that way you can become a part of her family. She does some amazing regular like events and things all centered around branding. She also does other live talks and lives and things as well, so you all can become a part of her family and start following her, and also get some jewelry. I just got
Yes,
this
please
one.
go check me out.
Yes, so her necklace that she has on right now, that choker. Yeah, and what am I wearing, Ty?
So you actually have all of the glass beads come from Ghana. So they're Ghanaian glass beads. All of them. These are handmade by the artisans there. They literally take, you know, glass bottles that are thrown on the side of the road, and they upcycle them. So they crush them, they make them into this pasty powder, and they form these beads by hand. And so I'm one, as a woman entrepreneur, I'm all about helping women be well as they do well. I suffer with anxiety. I like holistic approaches. I like to do medicine last in all cases. So I really build myself up with the foods that I eat, and with holistic practices like aromatherapy, mindfulness, breathing, to help me manage my stress and anxiety, which led me to this jewelry. Like, I was at a point in my life where I made a huge investment, then found out my daughter was cutting, and then my husband, we thought he was about to die, and I was like, what the freak is going on? And I'm the biggest financial contributor to my family, and so I was like, how am I going to do this? And so in order to not have a real nervous breakdown or go crazy for real, I had to find some natural ways to really enhance my mental well-being. So I do that through aromatherapy, through color therapy, and I just combine both of those into handmade jewelry. And so I use this during my meditation. I use it during yoga, and I just use it. I don't have a bracelet on right now, but oftentimes I just have a bracelet and I take a pause moment. I just, breathe in and out and allow the aromatherapy to do its thing. Are you using essential oils on yours, Zarinah?
No, now that you're talking about it, I was like,
you got to put some essential oil on it. So they're a diffuser. All of the jewelry are diffuser jewelry. We sell it for men and women. And then I've been having requests with school coming up. I've been making pieces for children around like using the natural healing power of stones to transition into new environments and, new situations. So I've been doing crystals for children as well lately. So I need to write a piece about that.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, check it out. And that's woodandroyalty.com. So
woodandroyalty.com. AND royalty.com. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I see that Dr. Anissa has one more question. And do you have time to answer that now?
Yeah.
Okay. So do I brand my name or my book name?
So that's a great question. And I believe that everybody on here should have their own name. Like, you should have a URL in your own name, whatever your name is. If your name is long, maybe you can do some version of your name. But I definitely like for you to own your name. And so if you do your brand under your name, you can also do another brand under your book name. But you definitely want your name. Like, for me, my personal brand is Ty. I can do, no matter what I do, no matter what I evolve into, I can always attach that to my name, right? But if you brand your book name and you decide for whatever reason that I've evolved from this, you basically are leaving that book behind. So I like to sort of position it to where you brand your name and then the other things come under it. The things that you do can change according to where you are. But what leads and what people connect to is you. So whatever you're doing, they built that relationship with you and they trust you, and they will, they're looking to receive whatever it is that you have to contribute to the world. And so I would say, first and foremost, brand your name. And then you can also do a URL for your book name as well, but definitely your brand. I mean, definitely your name.
Your name, for sure. So we can talk about that tomorrow too, if that's something you guys want to start talking about now. We can talk about like where to buy your name, and don't do GoDaddy. I hate GoDaddy. Where to buy your name and all of that kind of stuff, and how to get started with that. All right. So thank you, my love. I appreciate you.
You guys were amazing.
Yes. And everybody have an amazing rest of your Wednesday day, or rest of the week and year, really, I should say. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.